So in the second event, we have, this is in Minnesota, I believe, USA. Let's go. So 65 tickets were remaining out of 120. So still pretty hefty player base, not as full as sometimes we like to see, right? So going into Joe did end up getting 10th place, still great, 10 up, in the top 10. He only lost his last game, so he was playing at the top tables the whole time, guys. You got to understand that when you win all your games early like that, everybody that you're going into substantially getting challenging hard players, because all these people have not lost yet. So know that Joe was doing great here. Sometimes dropping down to 10th place or even to double digits below that doesn't necessarily reflect that you did poorly. It really could mean that you went to hard matchups multiple times, and that limited your max scoring potential, right? Compared to losing earlier in the in the matchup. So great job by Joe. So let's look at his list. I think I shared his list up already. Yes, I do. So Joe has facts. He said Big Mech in Mega Armor, another Big Mech in Mega Armor. And something that I appreciate about Joe is that he ran Boss Snikrot. And I'm gonna say it now, he also ran Mando. So in my Mando video, I even said I don't usually like to put them both on the list. This is why I say don't pay attention to just one got to say, go out there and get your own reps, because he decided based off his meta, his way of play, I'm gonna get Snikrot in there as well. I'd like to know if he put him in the same squad. Maybe it was, game dependent. So Mazrog Scragbag, a war boss with super cyborg body, and then a war boss. Some people think this is odd. I get it, but you have a war boss just sticking around for too long, or he can't be precisioned out. Sometimes it feels good. Sometimes one truck followed by one battle wagon. We're seeing a theme here, boys, with our big kind of thicker, chunky list. Stuff, battle wagons, kill rigs are kind of coming back into play. You don't see a bunch of trucks being spammed out everywhere anymore. Don't see people deciding to just stand out in the open with Squig Hog boys either. One Death Dread. Let's go. Yes, for the Death Dread. Now, what's the point of the Death Dread? In reality, guys, you're really just hoping to battle shock people sometimes. That's a huge strategy at the top levels. Sometimes if you can pull off battle shocks, start battle testing people so they can't use strats, as so many armies are heavily dependent on their strat capability. Death Dread can kind of catch people off guard there, and he's a good rapid ingress target, stuff like that. One unit of Gretchen, only one. I always go like, man, you guys are dope that it can just run around with just one Gretchen and then not be scared to be deep striked on. One unit of Mandos, followed by 2 big units of Mega Knobs. He was a fun twist. He decided I'm going to put 3 with custom shooters with power claws and then 2 with the twin kill saws. I actually really like that. If you got the models and the kits like that, I would say try that out. It looks actually pretty good. Then we have 2 big units of bricks of knobs, the scalpel unit. Normally we call this a scalpel unit because they can cut out that problematic enemy problem that you have. He decided I'm going to bring them as a battle axe more or less and just bring 2 of them and Mega Knobs. He was like, whoa! So I appreciate that. He just went all in on the knobs essentially. And then 2 units of Storm Boy. Everybody loves Storm Boy. So takeaways from this list, he went all knob pressure heavy with a Death Dread. He put the battle wagon in there, that way he could just fit so many gets in there that he has to. The Mandos to hold the mid table, and he just went all that. It was very much about staging and then putting pressure on you and hoping that his killing potential on his go turn went. He brought a nice mix up between the Mega Knobs and the knobs for a little bit more durable on one side. This unit can act as an anvil-ish with holding a small arms fire on this side. This unit can run in, be better for fighting in death or just go against high value targets, stuff like that, right? So it looks a little like he just went for 2 things at once, but it made sense because this Big Mech in Mega Armor is more of an anvil type thing compared to a war boss, right? If it was a war boss in Mega Armor, he was using these both as killing units, but he's not. He's using the Big Mech and Mega Armors more as anvils while the other knobs become hammers, right? You can just kind of bait people shooting sometimes. You throw a Mega Knob's butt out. Hey, hold up. You want to shoot at me? Oh, you shot at me. I regen my guy. Healed my guy. I just devalued your shooting greatly. Stuff like that. It does require some big game shenanigans, some big head shenanigans, but really nice to see people use the Big Mech and Mega Armor and the Mega Knobs, right? Even with Custodes being in the meta, people were like, I'm going to bring them. Let's go. So in his first matchup, Joe went into Simon. So he went Death Watch. Death Watch can kill. Death Watch can very much kill, but they're very, very elite. So Captain with Jump Pack, Chaplain with Jump Pack, Assault Intercessors with Jump Pack, and other Assault Intercessors with Jump Pack. So he's trying to be cheap after I just said that. 2 Gladiator Reapers, followed by 2 big bricks of Inceptors. Might look weird to you, but for Inceptors, that makes sense for Death Watch being these big bricks so they can invest in actually killing you when it's their go turn. 1 unit of Incursors, 2 Outrider squads, which I thought was pretty cheeky. And a Repulsor Executioner, another Repulsor Executioner, followed by 1 Caladius Assassin. Didn't go for almost any Death Watch type units. He was really just going for it. Very odd list, very unique. He said it was a test, and it didn't pass the test that day, but you can see it actually gave him his lowest score. Sometimes it's also a mission, though, so I can't really say much on that. As for his second game, he went into Adeptus Custodes. So let's go. We have a Blade Champion, a Shield Captain with Dawn Eagle Jet Bike. You really don't see that. Quite uncommon. Maybe he was just having a little flavor. Trajan Valoris, a Custodian Guard, another unit of Custodian Guard, two-man units of Terminators, a Grav Tank, a Telemon Heavy Dreadnought, and then 2 units of Praetors. So I'll just say, just between these 3 units in the character, obviously you're all thinking that's not very meta, and it's not. Having Wardens, even a big brick of Terminators, all of that would be more, useful into Orks. Bikers necessarily not being able to fall back in charge is not helpful to them. Still, great job by Joe for putting it on. 82 points. They're still difficult. Telemon doesn't go down easy, so it is what it is. In this third matchup, he went into Astra Militarum. So you can see he's getting some of our hard matchups, boys. So he has Cadian Command Squad, followed by Lord Solar Leontis, a Militarum Tempestus Squad. Interesting for that throttling. Regimental Engines here, and a Tank Commander. 1 unit of Cadian Shock, 2 units of Death Court of Krieg, an Armored Sentinel unit. I think just the Scout Sentinel is just more worth it. A Field Ordnance Battery. They really aren't terrible, but hey. A Hellhound unit, and Lehman Russ Executioner. Then he went for the Doran Battle Tank, which is what the text here probably is to kind of heal stuff and whatever. 1 Scout, and then actually, that's what the Shadow Swords are. My bad. He was for the Shadow Sword. So this guy, maybe the terrain was really open, and he just thought, I'm going to go for it. He doesn't have the indirect that are really a problematic for us. Basilisk being able to slow us is annoying. Manticores being able to pop our trucks or a lot of our transports preemptively and then get hit with Basilisk is really annoying. More Scout Sentinels. Kazarkin, a Scout into the middle. So not necessarily the most meta version of the list, but hey, the player brought him for a reason. He probably knew how to use them. In his 4th matchup, we have Gladius with Azriel. So we have the Dark Angels trying to make a comeback. So we have Apothecary Biologist with Fire Discipline, Azriel, Tech Marine, Assault Intercessor Squad, Aggressor Squad, nice. A Gladiator Lancer, another Gladiator Lancer, Inceptor, Infiltrators, Land Raider Redeemers, a Redeemer Dreadnought, a Redemptor Dreadnought, 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and then two units of Scouts. For this list, it's really just their only thing to keep us off them is the Aggressor Squad that you see right here, right? And other than that, they're mostly trying to take advantage of being able to advance and shoot. The Dreadnoughts kind of want to advance and charge. I don't really think, because it's Gladius, I believe, right? When I looked at it, or maybe, yeah, it was Gladius Task Force. So I would just say that I'm questioning him bringing Dark Angels. He really just wanted to bring Azrael, maybe. Typically with this kind of list build out, you might see more of an Iron Storm to get full value out of all these units. Then in his last but certainly not least matchup, he went into everybody's favorite Necrons. Woo! And his list says, I play Catans, not Necrons. Sorry, Git. Same thing. All right. So we have a Catan Shard of the Nightbringer, Catan Shard of the Void Dragon, Hexmark Destroyer, Hexmark Destroyer. These guys are the free individual characters that can give you free Overwatch strats. Good amount of firepower. Very annoying. When they're hyper crypt, they could just jump around, and they have lone op, so they're not getting shot either, right? Then we have a Silent King, because the Silent King's always fun. I'll pull up the Silent King right here just because I just wanted to point them out. Well, first, actually, I'm gonna look over the others. Then he just 3 Transcendent Catans, because you can spam those, and then 2 units of Scarabs, because you kind of need at least a couple units, right? So here's what the Silent King does. So the Silent King says, at the start of the battle round, select 1 Triarch ability until the start of the next battle round. This unit has that ability. What it means is these 3 abilities right here, and I'll just tell you that the one that they're most likely taking advantage of is the Bringer of Unity, which any unit within 6 inches, a Necron unit, can ignore all modifiers to the characteristics of that model in that unit to any rolls or tests made in that models, including modifiers for saving. Okay, so he allows the Catans to be reliable for damage. Of course, he does have great Menhir shots with his Annihilator beams, a little bit of questionable melee, but the fact that it's lethal does help put it over the edge, and the fact that it's actually AP3 helps put it over the edge. He's really just there in case you want to stick mods into one of the Catans. He helps to kind of ignore that, right? So that's really why you bring him. He's not super killing himself, but he does give you the long range firepower to maybe pop transports, which Catans don't like to deal with for the most part, and then he himself allows them to be more reliable in their damage output. So you can understand what this is. He literally just stat checked you. Knobs don't really do anything into Dragon, Void Dragon, or any kind of Catan as a whole. If you are hoping to do anything to them, you really do need Makari. So which means you need Gaz, and in that case, you're really just hoping on the go turn you can get them off on that. And even then, you can roll enough feel no pains to survive sometimes, but you're really not killing that many Catans without Gaz. Shout out to Joe regardless, going 4-1 for the Green Tide. Whoa, let's go.